police custody. Take a look at that video. George Floyd was pronounced dead shortly after he was arrested on Monday night. The city dismissed 4 officers who were involved in that incident. The Minneapolis Police Commissioner has asked the FBI to now join the investigation into Floyd's death, and we'll have more on this story throughout the morning. Police have now located a missing man who they say has a medical issue that can cause him to be disoriented. 64-year-old David Smith had been missing since about 5:30 p.m. He is staying with family in Moorhead, but is not familiar with the area. Police found him around 1 this morning. No other details are being released at this time. Parents in Fargo Public School seniors are celebrating some good news this morning. School Superintendent Rupak Gandhi says they'll allow 2 guests per graduates at this weekend's graduation ceremonies after all, but they will need to wear a mask and keep their distance. The change in COVID-19 policy came after much back and forth with health experts. Gandhi says the district got the final go-ahead from Fargo Cass Public Health yesterday afternoon.
My parents are probably the most important people in my life, and they have been throughout everything. They're always at every concert, every football game, everything of mine. And I'm giving a commencement address at this year's graduation, and I couldn't imagine them not being there. And
more health precautions for the graduation ceremonies will be announced by school a little later today. It's now 2 minutes past the top of the hour on this Wednesday morning. Let's get a check of that forecast. And Lisa, it's nice to actually see the sunrise this morning.
Yes, we are clear. We're enjoying those beautiful colors out there this morning and conditions that are nice and quiet. However, so quiet that in those places that we saw that rain yesterday, we've had some fog develop this morning. And that's over in the east, Lakes Country, part of Lakes Country, and over into central Minnesota, included in a dense fog advisory until 8 o'clock this morning. Bemidji's included, Park Rapids, Wadena. And a look at our visibility reports, we're at 0 currently in Bemidji. So dense fog there. We're down to about a quarter mile in Park Rapids and Wadena. And then there are places where we're still low, but not quite as dense. So Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, Wahpeton in that 1 to 2 mile range. So is Elbow Lake. Fargo seeing some fog, but it's not too bad, just a little bit of it. And our temperatures right now are mainly in the 50s. We're at 49 in Bemidji. It's 56 in Fargo and 51 in Grand Forks right now with light wind. That plus the clear skies that we have out there now. Nice to see those on our radar and satellite map. That combination has led to that fog development. So here's a look here in Fargo, that gorgeous sunrise looking pretty dreamy here with the fog just kind of hugging the surface, a very thin layer. And we can expect to see that lift once the temperatures start to rise with sunrise this morning. Sunrise at 5:40. And we'll watch those temperatures really start to soar. We're looking at 70s. And for some of us in the Southern Valley, getting to that 80-degree mark coming up for this afternoon. So a really nice day ahead of us today. And if we do get there in Fargo, we've had a couple of days where we've been very close, but we haven't quite reached 80 yet. So if we hit 80, it'll be the first one of the season, and more to come in the 7-day planner. We'll have more on that coming up.
A reason to celebrate. Thank you, Lisa. Fargo Fire and police are now investigating the death of a person found dead in a house fire. The body was found yesterday afternoon at 1123 South University Drive. The call came in around 12:30 in the afternoon for smoke coming out from under the roof. Authorities have not yet released the name of the victim. A second suspect is now facing murder charges in connection with a drug deal gone wrong in North Fargo. 29-year-old Lee Fry Jr. was in court yesterday for the shooting death of Anquin White near the North Fargo Hornbachers on May 12th. Reng Ayong is also charged with murder. Daryl Simmons is charged with conspiracy to commit robbery and conspiracy to deliver meth. In an exclusive interview, the uncle of a child who died in a Becker County house fire says the family needs all the help they can get. A weekend blaze near Detroit Lakes killed 2-year-old Micah Headland. Micah's father is out of the hospital now, but his mom, Missy, and 5-year-old sister are being treated in the Twin Cities.
They couldn't get through the flame to get upstairs, so they went outside hollering for Mike and Missy, and I guess Mike jumped out the bedroom window, and they all went in to try and find Micah at that time.
Missy's brother says the family is in desperate need of clothing. Now, we do have a full list of what the family needs on our website or also on the VNL News app. This Memorial Day weekend was the deadliest on Minnesota roads in 10 years. The State Department of Public Safety says 8 people died in 6 crashes over the 3 days. The victims' ages ranged from 16 to 85 years old. One of the fatal crashes was alcohol-related. Now, during the weekend, 292 drivers were arrested for DWI. That is down from 393 back in 2019. Some of you may have been brave over the Memorial weekend and took your first plunge into the lakes for the season. It was probably a chilly one if you did. Wouldn't recommend it now. But making sure that we're staying safe while out on the water once we go out is the Valley Today's Abby Furchner, who joins us live this morning. And Abby, nice, beautiful view behind you there this morning.
Oh, it truly is. But Jordan, I saw a lot of people actually jumping into the lake this weekend, and I was shocked. Just like you, I was like, it is way too cold for me to be jumping in, but people are getting in that swimming spirit. They're getting that itch, and so that's why we're here with YMCA of Cass Clay Counties and Family Wellness Aquatics Director Heather Sauer. And Heather, like I just said, a lot of people are getting that swimming bug. They want to be out in the water, but what are some good safety reminders that people should be remembering right now?
Yes, so one of the biggest things is never swim alone. Even as an adult, it's very important to swim with a buddy and bring a life jacket. If you're out boating, you definitely want that life jacket with you. Same with kayaking and canoeing. I actually just had a friend last week. She was kayaking down the river and tipped over and had her life jacket on. So that's extremely important, especially, in this river where there's log debris and all sorts of other things you can't necessarily see. It's so much safer to be kayaking or canoeing versus swimming.
Right, and I know we'll talk about this a little bit later, more in depth, but with children around, what can parents do to make sure that they're staying safe? Should one person be kind of designated to watching them?
Yes, absolutely. You want to make sure one person is designated. They have their eyes focused on those kids. Phones can be such a distraction, and we really just encourage parents, put that phone away, put the book away, and focus on your kids. You can have a conversation with friends, but your eyes should be looking at the kids to make them safe.
Absolutely, and like I said, we'll be talking a little bit more in depth about how you can keep your kids safe, but also, like we just mentioned, how you can keep yourself safe when you're out on the lake or river boating and kayaking and having that kind of fun as well. So lots more to talk about here this morning.
Yes, some very good advice as we head into summer. Abby, thank you. The city of Fargo is hosting a Red River Valley COVID-19 task force briefing a little later this morning, and we'll be streaming it for you. It starts at 11 o'clock, and it will feature updates on work conducted by members of that task force. We will be streaming this briefing on our website and the VNL News app. North Dakota is reporting another 43 positive cases of COVID-19, bringing the active case count to 667. 40 North Dakotans are currently in the hospital. There were no new deaths reported the other day. That keeps the death toll linked to the virus at 54. Minnesota is reporting another 652 positive cases, bringing the active case count there to 5,538. 18 new deaths were reported today, the other day rather. That's 899 deaths have now been linked to the virus in the state. 570 Minnesotans are in the hospital with the virus. 258 of those are in the ICU. The U.S. has now recorded nearly 99,000 deaths from coronavirus out of almost 1.7 million confirmed cases. But while the fatality rate has slowed, the number of cases is still rising in at least 27 states. Despite that, more places are reopening their economies and resuming some level of normal activity. There's a new traffic shift in the Northern Valley to be watching out for today. Work on Highway 2 between Grand Forks and Emerado will close eastbound lanes for about 11 miles. That means traffic will go head-to-head on the westbound lanes. The speeds will be down to 60, and you can expect a few short delays. Work is underway to get visitors back into the lives of people staying at long-term care facilities across North Dakota. We have the details on how they're doing that coming up. But next, Lisa Green is in with when we can expect to see some 80-degree temperatures here in the region.